Hello, everybody. Ray Livingston here from Alone Season 6. We just saw episode 4. Very interesting episode, obviously, for me. Uh, but we saw Nikki both have a high and a little bit of a low. She was able to harvest some food and then stuck herself with her arrow. But Nikki's a tough girl. Like, she'll get through that. I have no doubt. Good job out there, Nikki. And then we saw Wendy again finally, and awesome that she was able to not only take that nice shot and hit that grouse in a tree, but also to track it down. I felt you, sister. I felt your tears. I felt the appreciation you had for that grouse, and it was a moving moment for me. Good job out there. I wish you the best, and I'm glad you're now in that mindset that you're going to continue and continue to harvest game, that you're in the game. And we saw Jordan. Gosh, so close on that moose. Like, wow. I thought you had that moose there, and quite frankly, I was gonna. Knowing that my location was on the island across from where you were at, I was just dumbfounded at the same time that you're seeing this abundance. You're about to harvest a moose. I'm at the other end of the spectrum over there. But I can't say enough for you. Great techniques. The idea of making basically a fence to funnel the animals to where you want them to go, as well as have your early warning device, like, all very thoughtful, innovative stuff. It's been a pleasure watching you very much, and I wish you the best in the episodes to come. Based on the previews that we've seen, I'm making an assumption that it was you that got the moose, but it could be anybody. But I saw somebody walking with one in the episode, so it'll be interesting to see if that is you, and if it is that moose, or if it was one of the other participants. But big up to you. You're doing awesome out there. I'm definitely enjoying watching your adventure, and I've learned a lot from you as well. And then there was me on that episode. Episode 4 was the last episode for me, and obviously at the end of episode 4 you saw my tap out. My location was an island, and I had the opposite of Jordan as far as abundance of wildlife. I was able to catch the one fish, but then fishing really died. What it didn't show is I lost a couple more due to barbless hooks, and I had one line break. And then fishing just suddenly dropped off. I wasn't getting any hits or bites at all, whereas I could count on at least one or two a day earlier than that, and using the same gear, and even I changed it up a few times and used some different things, and still wasn't able to get a bite. Well, fishing died off, and that's when I went to the land more. I took another shot at another squirrel, and you saw a narrow miss on that squirrel. What you didn't see is my fletchings actually hit that squirrel. When it came off of that log, it did a backflip and rolled. It was pretty cool, but it did feed me. The lake you saw, it was about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from my camp, and I roamed from the lake back and forth everywhere between there and my camp, looking for something. My location being an island didn't have the type of wild game traffic that some of the mainland locations had. Uh, I did find moose sign, I found caribou sign, I found bear sign. All of it really being really, really old. Nothing was fresh. I think since that lake is frozen over about 9 months out of the year, they transitioned through there as over the frozen lake, but there was, as far as I could tell, there were no residents, animal populations, not even the rabbits that other people are seeing, no grouse, no nothing, just me, squirrels, and I saw a couple mice. So, for me, it was a hard decision to make the decision to tap. I wasn't ready to leave. While I love my family and friends and miss them, it wasn't a situation where I felt I needed to go. I was heartbroken for being alone. I was comfortable. I was fine. Loneliness wasn't an issue because, again, I came from the mindset that I took them with me. I could feel that my wife was okay at home. My kids were fine. I could feel the love and energy from my friends and family that were supporting me. I felt loved, and I felt that I was sharing this adventure with them, even though thousands of miles away. So loneliness was not a factor. To be honest, hunger wasn't really a factor. They showed a snippets of me foraging, but I had an abundance of berries to forage, at least. Not really much else. I was able to find some chaga and had some chaga tea. We had some Labrador tea. There really wasn't many of your wild edibles as far as leafy plants, but I had crowberries, juniper berries, bearberries, and a lot of lingonberry. That was probably my most prominent food source. Sometimes they call them low bush cranberries, but I was probably eating 2 to 3 pounds of them a day. So while I wasn't getting the fat and protein that I needed to sustain myself, I was never actually hungry out there. So it really wasn't hunger itself that drove me out. It was the fact that in 19 days, I lost 30 pounds. While doing the stuff that I was doing and eating 3 pounds of berries a day, I lost 30 pounds there. And without seeing any other signs of wildlife, and I was looking not only for the wildlife themselves, tracks, living quarters, droppings, anything. I didn't have anything else there. And, on that last day, I was wearing a pack that was roughly 25 pounds, mostly camera gear and some basic survival stuff in case I needed to stay out further away from my shelter. Just some basics. And it was about 25-pound pack, and I wear a 25-pound pack if I'm taking a little quick hike on any trail. It's nothing that bothers me. In fact, a lot of times in my training for search and rescue and hunting, I'll take 80-pound sandbags and put them in my pack and hike around with them. So 25 pounds in my pack really wasn't anything. But, one of the things that kind of showed in the last episode is me climbing up the hill. Well, in order to get anywhere every day, I had to climb that hill. To get where my main foraging area was, to get to areas where I could walk on the flats, I had to climb that hill. And unlike some of the locations that were at least seemed to be fairly flat and level around at least where the participants were camping, I wasn't. My camp was on a side hill. I had to walk up a hill to go anywhere. And where other locations were rocky and walking was fairly easy, I had 6 to 12 inches of lichen and moss over everything. So not only was I walking uphill everywhere, I was think about walking up a sandy slope. Just moving around took a lot of energy. And so, I was planning on going out to the furthest reaches of my island, and I realized that if there wasn't a moose tied up at the end of the island, if there wasn't some definite abundance there, continuing to go out there back and forth is a huge waste of energy for me. And that at that point, without having any confirmation of being able to see anything else, no signs of any other animals larger than squirrels, my best strategy to stay longer would have been to continue to eat what I could and lay in my shelter and play the starvation game. If food had ran out around day 60, I would have gladly played the starvation game because I would have had a chance at winning and taking home the prize. At day 19, knowing the quality of the other participants, I realized there was no chance of me winning if I couldn't harvest food, and there was little chance of me harvesting enough fat and protein from that island because it simply wasn't there. And so I made the choice then that it was a very rational and logical cost-benefit analysis. I looked at the potential cost to my health and well-being versus the potential of me finding something and being able to thrive and win the show. The chances of me finding something were close to zero, and the chances of me having long-lasting health effects, negative health effects, were near 100% with the course that I had. So at that point, it seemed rational that it was time for me to go. While I love you guys, I love my fans, I love everybody that supported me, I love everybody, there was no need for me to starve for you, for just entertainment, to see me starving. And most likely, if I had just been laying in my shelter doing nothing, it wouldn't have even aired. It would have just given me a few more day count at when I actually did my tap. Maybe moved me from the third person to tap to the fourth or fifth. But it was a very logical, well thought out decision, and it broke my heart to have to make that decision. I wasn't ready to go. I'm not ready to be back here now. I wish I was still out there. I loved the life that I was living. One of the few times in my life that life made sense, where my efforts for survival, all of my efforts, directly contributed to my own survival. I love my employer. They're awesome. But I spend a lot of time worrying about stuff doing stuff that doesn't necessarily contribute directly to my survival. Indirectly, yes, because I get a paycheck, and I can pay my bills, and I can do all the stuff that we do here in this modern world. But out there, life is so much simpler, so much cleaner. My stress level was nothing. I miss that. I miss that wild freedom that I had out there. Very much. So that was the reason that I chose to remove myself from the field at that point. Mainly because what you're seeing as the end of my journey is really the beginning of my journey. I always thought that being invited to be a participant on this show was a pathway to other things. What those things are, I don't know exactly. Some things seem to be coming into fruition that are exciting life and lifestyle changes, and if those things come to pass, then I'll speak more on them. But yeah, some exciting stuff for me and my wife and my family. Um, but yeah, this is the beginning of a new chapter in my life, not the end of one. And see it as that. You'll see me around at different places doing different things. Uh, but yeah, I'm excited for what comes next after this. Anyhow, I'm at work and I got to get back to work. But I just want to take a moment and thank you, the fans, for your love and support. Thank History Channel, ITV, for allowing me to be a participant on the show. I feel blessed to have been able to go out and honored and humbled to be considered in the company of the rest of the participants and the past participants of the show. Thank you, Cabela's in Tualatin, Oregon, for hosting the watch party last night. I really appreciate that. Thank you to my employer for allowing me to go. Thank you to my beloved friends and family for supporting me. Thank you to Nicole Apilli and Larry Roberts, Rich Plantinka, Scott Kronix, Chris Morawski, and the list goes on. To all the people to help me prepare and encourage me in this endeavor. I'll see most of you guys soon. And I can't wait for those reunions. And yeah, I kind of dreaded this day, you know, because I wasn't injured. I wasn't starved to the point I had to be pulled. I wasn't broken-hearted loneliness. I pulled myself for a different reason. Because basically I didn't want to starve to death. Starve and deal with potential health issues with no chance of winning. And that's what the crux of the matter was. And I have plenty of adventures ahead of me, and I wanted to make sure that I was ready and able to embark upon them without any physical, emotional, or intestinal complications to doing that. And I succeeded in that, and I walked away from this experience while it was still all a blessing to me. You know, had I had months of recovery time and medical complications, that would have tainted the memories of this experience with a very negative and sour note. So I left when it was all positive, and while I felt completely blessed for the experience that I had. Now, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens as it should. My journey was just as it was, so to take me from the place that I was before then to the place that I was supposed to be. I truly believe that, and some of the stuff that's happened in my life since then stands to me as evidence of that. So I'm excited to see what's next. I'm excited to move up my path and see what comes of this experience. But it was a blessing. And I thank all of you guys for being a part of it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if there's nothing else that you take from seeing me on the show or seeing my channel, take acceptance. Accept your path, accept your journey, and love one another. Take the chance to do random acts of kindness, hug a stranger, counsel somebody that's in need. Give from yourself if you're able. Just love one another. You know, I spent a lot of time talking about that on the show. Those segments didn't air, but that was how I chose to use this platform, to encourage you to understand that we're all in this together. Whether we're alone in the Arctic, whether you're in a densely populated urban area, we're not disconnected. We're all connected. And I felt you guys when I was out there. And I appreciated that. And I loved it. And I loved you. I sent my love out to you. And I received love from you while I was in the field. I felt everything. And that's one of those things nobody can take away, understanding those feelings. Once you get rid of the distractions of the modern world, you realize how connected you truly are to the plants, to the animals, to other people, to everything. You know, every blade of grass, every animal, every other plant, everything has a story of how it came to be. That could be theoretically read back just like your family tree. And everything else is connected to that, and so am I, and so are you. So, take care of each other. All right, I gotta get back to work. Thank you again, and I'll be talking to you guys soon.
Stay tuned for the next adventures. Thank you, Cabela's, for the hat, and I'll talk to you later.